Hi. In this video, I want to share with you some basic insights I collected over the past few years on the functioning of the brain. It starts with an element worth keeping in mind when it comes to understanding human beings, and first of all ourselves, understanding our sometimes weird behaviors and actions. I discovered it in the book The Power of Habits from Charles Duhigg. So here are 3 key facts to understand it. First, our brain optimizes the use of energy. Second, thinking requires a lot of energy. And third, energy is a scarce resource. Now, I suggest you pause the video just after this for a few minutes or even a few days. And I invite you to think about the implications of these 3 key facts. Then, please share your thoughts in the comments here below. You may stop the video now and come back to it later. So, here is the quote from the book. It's at the very beginning of the book. Habits, scientists say, emerge because the brain is constantly looking for ways to save effort. Left to its own devices, the brain will try to make almost any routine into a habit, because habits allow our mind to ramp down more often. This effort-saving instinct is a huge advantage. What does it mean? It means that the brain is not made to think over and assess each and everything that happens in our daily life. Thinking requires energy, and energy is a scarce resource. Thus, the brain can only focus on a limited amount of thinking activities. One way for the brain to be efficient, beware that we are talking about efficiency and not effectivity. So, one way for the brain to be efficient is to form habits. It takes up way less energy than thinking over something. And the brain is very good at turning things into habits. Habits are a kind of standard operating procedure, a known process or a repeated sequence of activities. Whenever a specific thing happens, it ignites a series of actions, reactions, behaviors. It sets us on autopilot, and we usually don't even notice it. The book explains this in details. Check it out. All this system is very interesting, and it's good to understand how to rewire things. It's also important to be aware or be sensible enough to recognize when we go into habit mode. The thing to keep in mind here is that it's in our physiology to go with the habits, and it requires energy to do things differently. That's why it's so difficult to change, and it partially explains how we make choices and why it's always easier to go with what's known. So that's the brain being efficient. It's one of its main functions. Yet we are also made to change. Yes, our brain evolved to deeply think, gain perspective, imagine possibilities, and understand the benefits of change. That's the brain being effective. This requires some more effort, some more energy. But we are still left with the same amount of energy. So that brings us to the topic of deliberately choosing where we want to allocate this energy. As Dr. Joe Dispenza says, where your attention goes, your energy flows. Now it becomes a matter of choosing where your attention goes. And it's usually going in many directions, jumping from one thing to another. So energy is dispersed. Choosing where your attention goes is really paramount. It means limiting the amount of things you will allow your attention to go to, so that these things can get more energy. There are some great books about the importance and meaning of focus. Here are 2 of them, and we will surely get to them in some future videos. But maybe most of all, it's about choosing where you will not allow your attention to go to, avoiding unnecessary distractions. There are plenty of videos, articles telling how smartphones and social media are such a disaster for our attention capacity. I'm sure I don't need to go into details. These are the things you have to contain, absolutely. Find out how to do it. There are also things you can set on autopilot, turn into habits, regularity, routines. For example, waking up at the same time each and every day, eating at a very regular time every day, having some sort of processes or checklists for repetitive things you have to do. You may also have heard about Mark Zuckerberg or other people wearing always the same type of clothes, the exact same t-shirt, pants, sneakers, from which they own several copies. This way, they don't have to spend any amount of attention or energy in the morning wondering what they could possibly wear. Now, taking care of this, I mean allocating some attention to what you don't want to put your attention on. That might sound a bit counterintuitive. Well, look at it as an investment for your attention in the near future. Freeing this energy will leave you with more energy to devote to what matters to you. And maybe at first, this energy, this space, will allow you to think about what really matters to you. Do you follow me? And you know what? I guess this overall principle applies to individuals as well as organizations. Taking care of where your attention goes is an attitude. It's a general discipline of awareness. And it's not an on-off button. It's something that comes with training, with practice. And by the way, meditation might help. That's it. What we've covered in this video are very basic concepts. I will surely come back to this topic in future videos. Our brain is the result of millions of years of evolution, and there is so much more about the functioning of the brain with recent neuroscience discoveries. I'll put some resources in the description here below. Check them out. Please like this video, share it, and leave a comment or a question. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time.